The girl was terrified when she saw a man remove his head and put it aside. At first, the girl thought she was just seeing things, since she was merely an ordinary person. She had no idea that fate had brought her to meet special mutants, and that what was waiting for her ahead was even more terrifying than she thought. Kenzie wanted to forget the horrible things she had just seen, so she decided to go to a bar to drink to relieve her sorrow. A man saw this and offered Kenzie a glass of wine. Not long after, Kenzie's body became extremely weak. Just as the man was about to commit a lewd act on Kenzie, a more beautiful woman appeared outside the elevator. The beautiful girl just got into the elevator and leaned in to kiss the man. The other party saw this and did not resist. He just thought that his charm was too great, so he was approached. But just a few seconds later, his face gradually turned pale because the girl was absorbing all of his spiritual energy, and the whole scene was accidentally filmed by Kenzie, who was in a daze. In no time, the man had turned into a cold corpse. The woman's name was Bo. She was a mutant living in hiding in the human world. When the police received the report and arrived at the scene, they only found the victim dead with a strange smile. The detective discovered a strand of female hair on his body and also smelled the mutant scent in the elevator. Then they went to a nearby bar to investigate. Through the story of a bartender, they learned that the bar had a new female bartender yesterday. But after working for a while, she had said she wanted to go to the restroom and never came back. During this time, Bo took the unconscious Kenzie back to her place. Bo knew that her actions had revealed her identity, so she immediately started packing her things. However, when Bo picked up her backpack and was about to leave, her foot accidentally kicked a can of soda on the floor. The noise woke Kenzie up from her sleep. At first, Kenzie thought she was hallucinating again. However, when Kenzie opened her phone and discovered that the video had been recorded, Kenzie was now sure that Bo was not human. Although Kenzie was extremely scared, Kenzie still wanted to talk clearly with Bo. Bo admitted that she was not a normal person. Kenzie felt that what Bo said was right because normal people would not interfere in unfair matters. If Bo was just a normal person, Kenzie would not have escaped from that man's hands. Kenzie assured that she would not reveal Bo's secret to anyone. She only asked Bo for 20 minutes to talk. After that, they would completely cut off contact and never see each other again. Then they went to a restaurant to rest. Kenzie confessed that she was a person who robbed the rich to give to the poor. Based on what had happened, she assumed that Bo was a vampire who liked to suck human blood. However, Bo explained that she herself did not know what she really was. Whenever she was hungry, she could not help but absorb the souls of others. However, she only absorbed the souls of the victims, not the blood. Although this conversation did not clarify what kind of mutant Bo was, Kenzie could confirm that Bo possessed extraordinary abilities. While the two were walking and talking, suddenly two men in black appeared behind them. One of them gave the order to start the action. Kenzie held her head and collapsed. When she had difficulty getting up, Bo was locked in a car and taken away. The person who captured Bo was Detective Chris, who had investigated the case before. Chris took Bo to a luxurious palace where every person who appeared before her was a mutant with special abilities. They were divided into two different factions. One was a dark organization that wanted to rule the world. The other was a team of light that pursued peace. These two factions had been fighting each other for thousands of years. Every time a new mutant appeared, both sides tried to attract her. Before choosing a side, Bo was forced to undergo a test. Only after passing could she be officially chosen. Lauren, a female doctor, examined Bo's body and determined that she was a rare mutant. Chris then immediately took Bo to the underground arena. Looking at the muscular man holding an iron hammer in front of her, Bo couldn't help but feel scared. In order for her to win and join his side, Chris took the initiative to transfer part of his power to Bo. Bo asked Chris how he felt because to her, the power he gave her was like a song ringing in her mouth. After eating her fill, Bo directly picked up the weapon placed next to her. Facing the monster with its long tongue sticking out in front of her, she used her flexible body to dodge the attacks. While the muscular man raised his hammer and prepared to launch his final attack, Bo quickly slid behind him. She felt disgusted by her opponent. She thought that as long as she finished off this powerful monster, she could pass the test. But unexpectedly, a black hand suddenly placed itself on Bo's shoulder. The next second, her consciousness was pulled into another world. There, a kind old man appeared. He offered an invitation and said that he could help help Bo escape from her pain. While Bo was still skeptically observing her surroundings, in reality, the monster had already dug its sharp nails into her head. At the same time, Kenzie also followed the clues to find her. At this time, Bo had completely lost consciousness and put down her weapon. The monster took advantage of the opportunity to use its ability to summon countless coffins. Inside were people who had their positive energy sucked out by Bo and died. He wanted to use this to attack Bo's psychology. However, just when he was about to succeed, Kenzie appeared in time. She shouted to wake up Bo, who was gradually losing her mind. The monster kept tempting Bo to drink the strange water, and Kenzie risked her life to save her. Kenzie kept screaming for Bo to wake up. Thanks to that, Bo woke up in time and asked the opponent to stay away from her head. The people in the organization then confirmed that Bo had passed the test. They said that everyone had seen it, and she could choose her own stance. But Bo firmly refused both sides. Instead, she chose to side with the humans. Not long after, Kenzie sat in the car, looking forward in horror. She saw a man remove his head and put it aside. Meanwhile, Bo was negotiating with another person in the house when suddenly the headless man rushed in with a weapon. The man in the house was scared and immediately pulled the trigger, but the bullet did not cause any damage. Bo witnessed the scene and told the man to leave the place quickly, while she stayed to fight the headless man. At the same time, Kenzie also ran upstairs. She glanced at the head that was put aside, then rushed into the house and handed Bo a broom. They both thought that the headless man could see with the eyes in his back because he had no head. However, they also understood that this was a completely new type of mutant and were not sure how to deal with it effectively. After the battle, Bo and the others went to Chris for help. When Chris saw the headless man's body in the trunk, he immediately recognized him as a Durahan. These are mutant mercenaries with the unique ability to detach and move the head, with the purpose of causing the victim to fall into a state of panic. The reason Bo was being hunted by them was because of a request she had received the day before. At that time, Bo and Kenzie had just returned to their accommodation from the arena when a skinny old man came to them. He was a forest spirit with the ability to release strange fire. For many years, the old man had lived in the forest outside the city. However, recently, some people had often broken into his territory and stolen the treasures that he had accumulated for a long time. The old man wanted Bo to help him find the lost items. The reward was information related to Bo's biological parents. To find the thief of the treasure chest, Bo conducted an investigation and followed the trail to a secret warehouse. There she met the thief. The man said that he would only return the items when he met the old man. Reluctantly, Bo called Kenzie to bring the old man. When he saw this, the man also opened the warehouse for Bo to enter to check the chest. However, as soon as Bo entered, Dyson suddenly closed the door. No matter how she called, he had no intention of letting go. Not long after, Kenzie brought the old man. As soon as they met, Dyson immediately pointed a gun at them and questioned the old man about why he had abandoned his mother. Kenzie saw that he had a tech gun and told the old man to be careful. The old man explained that Dyson's mother had not known anything. Someone like him could not stay with humans forever. Dyson argued that he had not even given them a chance. All he had wanted was to see him and know him. The old man thought that everything he had done was for his children. It turned out that they were father and son. 20 years earlier, the old man and a human woman had fallen in love and had a child. But in order to hide his mutant identity, he had been forced to leave. Now that his son had grown up and had come to find him, the old man was filled with joy. However, while the father and son were talking, a man dressed in black walked out from behind. He was just like the previous one who had removed his head. Seeing that scene, Kenzie hurriedly opened the warehouse door. The headless man immediately swung his sword continuously towards Dyson. Fortunately, Bo appeared in time to block his attack. She called the opponent a headless demon and commented that each of them had a head on their shoulders. Immediately after that, Bo told him directly that his head was currently in her hands. However, the headless man was completely unafraid of that threat. Seeing the scene before her eyes, Kenzie immediately threw the head in her hand into the fire. Immediately, the headless man's body lost all strength and fell down. After finishing, Bo asked the old man about the news related to her parents. The old man said that at that time, he had only seen Bo being carried by a midwife. The old woman had seemed to be running away from something, her face filled with fear. As for the true identity of Bo's parents, he had no idea. After speaking, the old man took his son and left this place. Because the old man was a mutant with the ability to absorb other people's luck. Thanks to that ability, he had an endlessly rich life. However, recently he encountered a strange thing. A man named Roger came to his casino, and even though he used his ability to absorb luck, Roger still won big in the end. The old man thought that another mutant was secretly targeting him, so he went to Bo, who had not yet joined any faction, for help. At the same time, he called his sister Cassie, a prophet, to help. In return, Cassie Cassie would help Bo find clues about her parents. However, the condition was that Bo had to investigate the matter as soon as possible. As a detective, Chris quickly investigated Roger's whereabouts. However, when Bo and Chris arrived at the address, they discovered that Roger had died 3 days ago, while he appeared at the casino on the second day after his death. Therefore, the incident must have involved another mutant species. Bo immediately took Kenzie to a mutant bar to find information. Through Trick's story, they found out that in the mutant world, there were people who had the ability to enter the body. Such people were called fairies. There was also such a person in the light mutant faction. Chris then led Bo to a morgue. As soon as they entered, they saw a woman dancing. At first, they thought she was a fairy, but when the woman touched the fat man sitting on the chair, she immediately turned into a cold corpse. It turned out that the fat man in front of her was the real fairy. His name was Eddie. Seeing that, Chris asked Eddie about the recent events. Eddie replied that he did not know who did this, but he heard that a dark mutant named Lucas had just appeared. Lucas was also a fairy with the ability to possess souls. However, his whereabouts were still unknown. With no other choice, Bo had to report all the information he had gathered to Mayor. After hearing this, Mayor immediately thought of a competitor named Pastor and suspected that the opponent had hired Lucas to deal with him. In order to find evidence, Bo and Kenzie went to Pastor's casino to investigate. As soon as they entered, they immediately attracted the other party's attention. Bo intended to use her ability to force Pastor to tell the truth, but unexpectedly, Pastor coldly said that only when she truly learned how to control her ability would he not be able to refuse. Bo asked who told him she was coming. Pastor just smiled and replied that it didn't matter. Immediately after that, he pushed her down. He knew very well that Bo must have had a reason to approach him. At the same time, he threatened that Bo didn't know what kind of person he really was. After speaking, Pastor used ice spikes to pin her down. In no time, the entire room was covered in a layer of cold ice. Fortunately, Kenzie rushed in from outside. She swung the iron bar and hit Pastor straight on. Bo also took the opportunity to kick him out. The two of them joined forces and finally defeated Pastor. After the battle, Kenzie quickly took the seriously injured Bo to find Chris. Seeing the 2 wounds left by the ice thorns on Bo's body, Chris did not hesitate. He immediately devoted his power to healing her. After 3 hours of energy transfer, Bo's body gradually recovered, but Chris was exhausted. His face was extremely pale. Just then, Bo's phone rang. Eddie called, his voice full of panic as if something bad had happened. Bo and Kenzie rushed to the morgue, but when they got there, they only saw Eddie dead, his body lying on the ground. Suddenly, another corpse on the bed jumped up. Before Bo could react, the corpse hugged her tightly from behind. Bo loudly asked, "Is this the final move?" The other person laughed contemptuously. He replied that what just happened was just a warm-up act, and his real game had just begun. It turned out that Lucas, the elf of the dark mutant race, had controlled the corpse to attack Bo. Despite her every effort to resist, he was still unaffected. Lucas tightened his grip on Bo's neck and pressed her down on the table, making her almost unable to move. Fortunately, Chris appeared in time. He raised his gun and aimed it straight at the corpse's head. Lucas was not afraid of physical threats, but he understood that once this body was destroyed, his soul would also be severely damaged. With no other choice, he gave up resisting. After capturing Lucas, Bo immediately brought him before Mayor. Mayor kept his promise to let Cassie use his prophetic powers on Bo. In the hazy smoke, Cassie saw a picture of a girl being held captive, and it was Bo's biological mother that she had been looking for. Cassie trembled and said that she had come, she would bring war and death. Bo would have to make a choice. Cassie repeated many times that she was coming and then suddenly felt nauseous. At the same time, Bo was taking a shower and felt someone peeping from behind, but when she turned around, there was no one. Suddenly, an ugly monster appeared behind the curtain. Before Bo could react, it pushed her down into the bathtub. Bo struggled to get out of its control, but the next second, the monster rushed forward and slammed her into the wall. The impact was so strong that cracks appeared on the ceiling downstairs. Kenzie saw the scene and immediately realized something was wrong. She quickly grabbed the weapon next to her and ran upstairs. At this time, Bo was beaten to the point of no longer having the strength to resist. The monster picked up her body and continuously threw it against the surrounding walls. Fortunately, Kenzie rushed in time. While attacking, Kenzie blurted out that she smelled grilled meat. Chris also received the news soon after and immediately ran over. He advised Bo to give up the investigation because this attack was just a warning. Once she really angered the other party, she would have to face endless assassinations. It turned out that in order to find out where Bo's parents were, she secretly contacted a vampire who had lived for thousands of years. She used dozens of bags of fresh blood to exchange and learned information about a mutant named Lus that could be related to her mother. But not long after, Bo was arrested arrested by the human police. To know more details, they must find a way to save her. It was this transaction that caused Bo to be hunted by monsters, and the other vampire was also murdered by a mysterious person. Bo had no choice but to seek out the elder of the dark mutant race. Because she had previously helped Mayer solve the problem related to the fairy, Mayer still owed her a favor. However, when hearing Bo mention Lus, Mayer sternly advised her not to interfere, because the person behind this matter possessed power beyond her imagination, but to quickly find the whereabouts of her missing mother. Bo was determined to save Lus. In the end, Mayer reluctantly gave her an address. He warned that there was the person she was looking for there. If Bo was brave enough, then go. At the same time, Mayer reminded her that Farkas was the darling of the Dark Elders. If she was not careful, she would bring disaster upon herself. To avoid the risk, Bo went to Trick and borrowed a special weapon called Sela. This was a weapon box passed down from ancient times, capable of resisting powerful magic. Its material could also cause damage to any mutant species. With the weapon in hand, Bo felt much more confident. Soon after, she went to the address provided by Mayer. Right here, Bo met a strange man. After talking, she realized that he was the person she was looking for, named Farkas. After identifying the other party's identity, Bo immediately drew her dagger and attacked. However, with just a wave of his hand, Farkas fixed her entire body in place. As he slowly rotated the dagger in Bo's hand, she lost control and changed direction. Seeing the dagger getting closer and closer to her stomach, Bo quickly put one hand on her waist, waiting for the right moment. When Farkas was careless and approached her, she quickly took Sela out. Farkas slightly curled his lips in provocation, saying that she even brought a toy, which was no different from playing tricks. Bo did not respond. Her eyes were determined. Farkas continued to tease her, saying that he knew her very well, and even knew about her mother's story. Bo didn't want to hear it, but when Farkas coldly asked, "Think about it, why would I waste time with that vampire? He had wanted to keep it a secret for you, but I finally got him to tell me everything." Bo was stunned. Her anger rose. Bo immediately threatened him. Chris saw this and quickly stopped her, telling Farkas to leave, but Farkas still refused and said another provocative word. Chris had to push him away. He turned to Bo and told her that he was saving her. Bo refused to listen, just wanted to deal with Farkas immediately. Chris warned, "If you kill him, they will not forgive you." But Bo was impatient and didn't care anymore. That day, Bo was looking forward to the meeting place, but when she arrived, she was shocked to see Chris talking to another woman who had just appeared in her world not long ago. Before Bo's eyes, that woman suddenly used her ability to drain Chris's vital energy. Witnessing that scene, Bo angrily rushed over, but her strength was still far inferior to her opponent's. All attacks were neutralized. With no other choice, Bo had to take advantage of the moment. When the woman was busy talking, pick up a piece of wood on the ground and stab straight at her. The woman was injured, gritted her teeth, and threw a sentence back before leaving. Bo quickly ran to Chris's side, transferring energy to save him. After 3 hours of transferring the breath that had accumulated for hundreds of years, Chris gradually regained consciousness. The two of them returned to the mutant tavern together. Here Trick revealed a long-hidden secret. The woman just now was Lena, Bo's biological mother. Trick recounted, years ago, the mutant race was on the verge of extinction due to a prolonged civil war. Unable to bear it any longer, he used the name of the Holy Blood to end the war. But Lena believed that her race was at a disadvantage. She secretly killed a leader of the dark mutant race, and that reckless action brought great disaster to his entire race. Lena sought Trick's protection, but in order to maintain peace between the races, Trick was forced to hand her over to the Council of Elders. Since then, Lena has been imprisoned in a dark dungeon for hundreds of years. Only recently did she escape. Trick asserted that Lena's return would certainly ignite the flames of revenge, dragging the entire mutant race into chaos. On the other hand, the leader of the light mutant race was summoning the elders to discuss how to deal with it. A man in black brazenly walked in, saying that he was delivering a package from Lena. Immediately after, a terrible explosion occurred. The high-ranking members of the light mutant race were killed and seriously injured. Even the powerful leader fell into a coma. Knowing that it was Mother who did it and that she was willing to destroy everything in revenge, Bo was in pain, but still decided to use psychic sensing to find Lena's whereabouts. Bo intended to persuade her mother to give up hatred and live with Bo. However, after listening, only laughed mockingly. She thought that the long years of imprisonment and torment, Lena could not easily forget. Lena held the spear beside her. She walked in front of her daughter and coldly said that they would no longer have the chance to hug each other. It was too late. Then a fierce battle broke out between the two. Meanwhile, Chris received the news and rushed to the goddess of fate. He begged the goddess to give power to Bo and was willing to sacrifice his werewolf blood in exchange. Seeing that Chris could give up everything for a woman, the goddess of fate was extremely surprised. However, what she wanted was not Chris's of blood, but the most important thing in his heart. The goddess said that she would take away Chris's love for Bo. In return, she would leave him with his lost memories. From now on, Chris would never be able to love Bo again. Meanwhile, Bo had grabbed her mother's hand in time. When she was about to pull Mother up, Lina suddenly felt a mysterious power. The source of that power was Trick. He used his holy blood to rewrite a contract and sealed it into Lina's body. In her last moments, Lina told Bo to let her go. She confessed that she still had a lot to say and told her daughter to ask Trick because he knew everything. She also apologized to Bo and asked her to tell Trick. Finally, Lina asked Bo to promise her one thing: to try to forgive her. After that incident, in a nursing home, after just one night, all the old people suddenly became stupid. Only the gatekeeper, a mutant, remained conscious. He suspected that the dark mutant had caused this, so he immediately sought out Bo, who specialized in handling strange incidents, for her help. However, when Bo called Lauren to check the bodies of the elderly, the two did not find any clues related to the mutant. With no other choice, Bo had to return home to rest. That night, while sleeping, she suddenly had a strange dream. In the dream, Bo saw Chris bathing in her own house. Unable to resist the temptation, she took off her shirt and got in with him. While enjoying the passionate moment, Chris suddenly changed his attitude. He coldly said that he wanted Bo to give him her heart. Fortunately, Kenzie appeared in time. Bo was extremely confused, so she immediately went to Trick at the mutant's pub to clarify. Based on what she described, Trick confirmed that it was a nightmare goblin, a mutant species that often ate its prey through dreams. Trick warned that from now on, Bo had to stay awake until she found a way to destroy the nightmare goblin. The only mutant species capable of controlling them was the violent bone demon. This creature can resist backlash and absorb all nightmares. However, because of this unique ability, the bone demon has long been hunted to near extinction. The remaining individuals have all gone into hiding. With no other choice, Bo went to the territory of the light mutant race to ask for help from the current leader. However, when he heard the whole story, the leader flatly refused. It turned out that the gatekeeper who asked Bo for help was not one of their people, but a hidden dark mutant race. Knowing she had been tricked, Bo immediately turned back to confront him. However, before she could ask about her true identity, the gatekeeper used anesthetic to make her unconscious. In no time, the dream dragged Bo back down to the abyss. The darkness greedily licked her cheekbones and swallowed the surrounding space. Bo's body gradually sank. She panicked and called for help. Luckily, Bo woke up at the last moment. She jumped up and kicked the gatekeeper hard, breaking the chair that bound her hands. Taking advantage of the moment when he had not yet reacted, Bo rushed forward to suck his essence. Forced to drain his energy, the gatekeeper gradually lost his mind and revealed the truth. He admitted that he was a nightmare elf with the ability to put others to sleep. He trapped Bo to nourish his girlfriend. Because she was pregnant, Dream's appetite grew bigger and bigger. Bo was a mutant that did not belong to any faction, the most ideal target. While he confessed, Bo fell into a deep sleep. Her weak body could not resist. She fell to the ground and quickly fell asleep. At that moment, Dream appeared from inside the house, but instead of getting along, the two mutants immediately argued fiercely. The sound of arguing accidentally woke Bo up. The gatekeeper immediately rushed over to knock her out again. Luckily, Bo pulled out a dagger in time to defend herself. She struggled to drag her weak body into the elevator and locked him out. As the elevator slid down to the last floor, Bo suddenly felt a familiar aura. Following that feeling, she found a crying woman. When she lifted the bed curtain, Bo was horrified to realize that the woman's face was exactly like hers. Before she could react, the woman rushed forward to hug and kiss her. But the truth was that in reality, Bo was still standing still in the hallway. The ghostly dream had imprisoned her thoughts. At that moment, Kenzie led a violent demon to appear. As soon as he stepped forward, he gently hugged Bo. Immediately, the image of the woman in the nightmare was sucked away and disappeared. When Bo opened her eyes, cold sweat was still on her forehead. She looked towards the end of the hallway. The woman in the room behind the blue door was the clue that opened a new chain of events. In another development, Kenzie, while drunk, used lipstick to write Bo's name on the mirror. Unexpectedly, that seemingly harmless action summoned a powerful witch. The next morning, Bo was horrified to discover a strange drawing on her waist. It was the cursed symbol of Yaga, the ancient witch. According to Trick's explanation, this meant that Bo had become her target. Bo immediately turned to look at Kenzie. Last night, the two of them had mentioned Yaga in their drunken conversation. Today, she was marked. Bo suspected that Kenzie had secretly summoned the witch, but because of too much alcohol, Kenzie had no memory of what she had done. With no other choice, they sought help from a witch. She cut a dagger in Bo's hand and smeared the blood on Kenzie's face. As the incantations echoed, Yaga's creepy voice came from Kenzie's mouth. Yaga declared she will take Bo's name, then find Chris to take revenge. This request has been arranged. Seeing Seeing that Yaga had been summoned, Bo immediately demanded to withdraw the curse. But to end it, there must be a sacrifice in exchange. Before she could react, the mirror in front of her emitted a terrible suction force. Bo shouted for Kenzie to pull her back, but Kenzie was determined. The curse was summoned by me, so I am the one who must pay the price. At that moment, the mirror emitted a ghostly laugh. I only lack young girls. And then, the mirror shattered. Kenzie disappeared. She was taken into Yaga's mirror world, where cold darkness enveloped her. There, besides her, were 4 other young girls who had been captured. Every day, they were forced to cook dinner for Yaga. Once they made a mistake, they would be thrown straight into the blazing furnace. Seeing Yaga savoring the feast from flesh and bones, Kenzie's mind flashed with the idea of escape. She pretended to obediently clean the table, waiting for Yaga to turn around and leave before slamming the pan down. But the door in front of her was enchanted. Yaga angrily approached Kenzie, her eyes flashing with evil fire. As punishment, Yaga opened the oven lid, preparing to throw Kenzie in. At the same time, outside, Bo was frantically trying to find a way to save her friend. Thanks to Chris, she contacted a sorceress of the light race. But to enter the mirror world, Bo was forced to put her body in a near-death state. Only when her soul was separated could it pass through the magical gate. As the ritual began, Bo choked. Her body trembled. Her heart beat slowly. Chris still held her hand, supporting her unconditionally. When Bo opened her eyes again, she was in the mirror world, but immediately, her appearance caught Yaga's attention. In this realm, Bo was completely stripped of her powers. She only had her will left. Yaga coldly opened the furnace door, preparing to throw Kenzie and the other girls in. At that moment of despair, Kenzie managed to pull out a small, mysterious mirror that she had found in an old chest but had never known how to use. Yaga saw Kenzie holding her magic mirror and quickly said that the 2 of them could leave but had to return the magic mirror to her. Then she told Kenzie to look into the mirror and imagine her home. Kenzie immediately asked, "What about the others?" Yaga replied that they came from different times, different places, so they could not return together. Kenzie then shared the broken mirror with the others so they could return to their homeland. However, just as Bo was distracted, Yaga suddenly knocked her out. Before Kenzie could leave, she was pushed to the edge of the furnace. When Yaga was about to throw her in, another man who was also imprisoned suddenly went crazy and broke the chains. Meanwhile, Trick ventured into another dimension alone. As soon as he arrived, he saw his girlfriend who had died many years ago. Although the woman looked exactly the same as before, after a short time of contact, Trick still realized that something was wrong and immediately asked who she was. As soon as his girlfriend disappeared, a mysterious man stepped out of the car next to him. He claimed to be a Garuda, a species from the darkness. Trick was very surprised because Garuda had been extinct for thousands of years, so he thought the man was just trying to scare him. But when he saw the wings growing from the man's back, Trick was sure that this was really a Garuda, a species that specializes in eating mutants. He remembered that thousands of years ago, he had used his blood to end the war between mutants, leaving Garuda no longer a chance to hunt. That's why Garuda had to suffer from hunger and thirst. He had hidden in the dark all those years, just waiting to find Trick and destroy the bloodletter of truce. Garuda claimed that he had smelled Trick's location, and that the evil spirit was about to descend. At this moment, Trick's body in reality was also showing signs of pain. Chris, who was by his side, wanted to wake him up, but in his panic, he accidentally pulled out the air tube on the machine. A large amount of anesthetic immediately sprayed out. Chris had to use all his strength to hold the mask tightly on Trick's face. Finally, at the most critical moment, he successfully removed it. After waking up, Trick told Bo and Chris everything he had just witnessed. He believed that the appearance of Garuda meant that the entire mutant race was about to face a great disaster. In order to have enough strength to resist, Trick immediately called Bo. He wanted Bo to help him find a strong female demon, but emphasized that only by controlling this female demon could they force her to cooperate. With no other choice, Bo went to the blacksmith Lambert. This guy had a special music box that could trap the female demon inside by turning it. After getting the music box, Bo and Lambert went to the place where the female demon usually appeared. When Bo was about to turn the music box to trap her, Lambert said that more spells were needed. While the two were arguing, they accidentally dropped the music box on the ground. Accidents always come very quickly, so all 3 of them were sucked into the world of the music box. The female demon was angry. She kept throwing balls of light to attack Bo. Fortunately, Lambert was very familiar with this environment. He raised his hands and pressed on the wall next to him. Immediately, a large door appeared in front of the 3 of them. After escaping the female demon's pursuit, Bo and Lambert began to find a way out. Lambert was wrong to create this space because he himself could not find a way out. Bo reluctantly had to call Chris, but as soon as she finished conveying the situation, the female demon came looking for her again. Lambert saw this and quickly took Bo into the elevator. The two went straight to the top floor of the space. Here, Lambert discovered a switch that led to the tunnel. When he went up to check, the female demon suddenly appeared and pushed him down. She said that below was where Lambert belonged, and then coldly declared that it would be Bo's turn next. The scene surprised Bo. Lambert was the only one who could get them out of here, but now he was pushed down into the bottomless tunnel. This meant that they had completely lost the chance to leave the space. Hearing Bo's questioning, the female demon's body immediately heated up. When Bo asked what she was doing, the female demon immediately told Bo to get out of her space and return to the music box. The female demon also declared that she would release her power to burn everything here. Bo quickly stopped her. In the critical situation, Bo comforted the female demon and lied that Bo was her loyal fan. The female demon, who loved to be worshipped, gradually withdrew her power after hearing this. Meanwhile, Chris received a distress call and found the broken music box. He and everyone else researched for a long time but could not find a way to fix it. Fortunately, Hale had a very good sense of music. After listening to the melody in the box, he immediately recognized the name of the song. When he played the music, Bo's figure was quickly projected. After talking, Trick knew that the female demon was also in there, so he told Bo how to control her. Thanks to that, Bo returned to the music box and pretended to make up. Taking advantage of the opponent's lack of vigilance, she left a bite mark on the female demon's neck. When the female demon reacted, her body was no longer in control, completely becoming Bo's slave. At the same time, Lambert suddenly crawled out of the tunnel intact. It turned out that he was wearing a belt that could withstand all damage. However, even though they were safe, the three of them still could not find a way out of here. The only way left was to destroy the entire space in the music box. Even though she might be injured, Bo still ordered the demon to release all her power. When the music box emitted a dazzling light, the terrible energy destroyed it. The three of them finally escaped successfully. However, a new danger appeared. It was the fire demon, a mutant with the ability to burn everything. Initially, he only lived in the lava deep in the volcano. However, since the appearance of Garuda, the fire demon also changed his nature and began to invade the human habitat. His appearance upset the balance of the three great families in the mutant world. Not long after, one of the three families was attacked by the fire demon. The head of one family was burned to ashes in the office. This news quickly spread throughout the mutant world. When he discovered this, the head of another family, who was timid, immediately sought Bo's help. However, as soon as he revealed his identity, a sudden sharp pain appeared on his hand. Trick reminded him that his hand was burned. Trick asked the other person if he had touched anything strange, but everything happened too quickly. In the blink of an eye, the fat man, who weighed over 300 pounds, turned into ashes. At this time, only Hollis, Hale's father, remained among the three family heads. After investigating the previous two cases, they discovered that the three families seemed to be connected to a person named Scafati. So Bo went to Hollis's family to find out the clues. There, she discovered a secret room with a scroll hanging in the middle of the room. When Bo brought out the scroll to question her, Hollis admitted that Scafati was not an individual but a family. Many years ago, there were four great families that had ruled together in the mutant world. Among them, the power of the Scafati family far surpassed the other three families. In order to prevent the balance from being broken, the three families had joined forces to seek help from the fire demon. In return, they promised that every 100 years they would offer a girl from the family as a sacrifice. However, when it came to fulfilling their promise, all three families had betrayed the fire demon. Together, they sealed the fire demon deep in the volcano. Now that the fire demon had been freed by Garuda, the first thing he did was to seek revenge on the three families. Knowing that Hollis would hold a lavish party tonight, Bo wanted him to cancel it, but the invitees were all nobles. To save face for the family, Hollis would rather be burned to death than cancel it. Therefore, he suddenly locked Bo in a secret room. However, Bo quickly discovered a ventilation pipe on the wall. Meanwhile, the distinguished guests had arrived one after another to attend the party. While they were chatting in the great hall, the chef in the kitchen was suddenly burned to death by the fire demon. This horrifying scene was just seen by Kenzie, who was going to the kitchen to get some water. She quickly crawled to the ground to hide, but the fire demon soon appeared right in front of her. Just as Kenzie was about to be burned, Bo managed to escape from the pipe and used her cart to hit the fire demon. However, in the blink of an eye, the demon disappeared. Bo immediately told Kenzie to stay put and not run around, while she took the fire extinguisher and went to look for it. While she was carefully examining the kitchen, the fire demon suddenly broke through the ground and appeared behind her. Bo angrily scolded him. She blamed a famous mutant clan for not paying attention to fire safety. She did not expect the fire demon, who was feared by all three clans, to be frozen by a tank of liquid nitrogen. Bo then brought his head to the main hall. There, she loudly proudly told the whole truth. When they learned that the three clans had done such shameless things, many of the noble guests immediately lost their sympathy for Headless. Now the evil Garuda had begun to act against the mutants. They had to destroy him before a great war broke out. Trick had obtained Garuda's hideout from a source. After obtaining a detailed map, Bo led everyone there. However, as soon as they arrived, they encountered Garuda's subordinates. Just as the two sides were confronting each other, a group of armed mutants suddenly rushed in. They were all the close guards of the leader of the light mutant race, and they came to help Bo fight against Garuda. Before anyone could react, Garuda appeared in front of them, but when he saw these armed mutants, he was not afraid at all. On the contrary, he took the initiative to approach. Garuda's best ability was to charm people, taking advantage of the mistakes they made to continuously attack their psychology. However, Chris was hot-tempered and refused to listen to this nonsense. He immediately transformed into a werewolf and charged forward. This action not only did not cause any harm to Garuda, but on the contrary, almost burned everyone to death. Hale approached, angrily criticizing Chris's actions, but Chris directly pushed him aside. Soon, several people were arguing loudly. Hale even used the tribe's power to attack Chris. Seeing that his purpose had been achieved, Garuda roared and pulled out the fire sword from his body. When he was about to kill Bo, a member teleported in front of her. Immediately after, Garuda directly flapped his wings and flew away. The death of his comrade woke everyone up, but when Bo discovered that Garuda had disappeared, they were surrounded by a group of mutants following him. To make up for his mistake, Chris decided to stay behind to hold off the mutants so that Bo and the others could escape through the back door. Meanwhile, Garuda had found the leader of the light mutants. He was a Naga snake king with extremely strong venom. This venom was enough to kill Garuda instantly. However, the previous battles had caused him to lose one of his 9 heads. With most of his strength gone, he was no match for Garuda. After just one round, the leader was beheaded and died. This scene was seen by Trick, who was hiding in the shadows. Although he did not make any sound, Garuda relied on his scent to detect his location. Trick had no choice but to step out. However, he did not choose to duel. Instead, he blew a whistle to call the skunk to come. He told it that he used the name of the holy blood to free it and its debt was forgiven. Ever since Trick used the blood letter to establish a peace treaty, he had always lived in hiding in the human world. But now the appearance of the evil Garuda had broken everything. In order for Bo to win the upcoming battle, Trick took out a bottle of life water that he had kept for many years. Just drink it and all wounds can be healed immediately. Bo happily accepted the bottle of water. However, at this moment, a black shadow suddenly appeared in front of them. Before the two could recognize the identity of the opponent, the black shadow passed Bo, hugged Trick, and disappeared. Seeing this, Bo immediately called everyone over. They all knew that Garuda was behind everything. In order to save Trick, Lauren injected Bo's blood into everyone's body. Her blood had the ability to charm. Those infected would completely obey Bo's orders. This could not only prevent Garuda from charming people and causing discord, but could also provide Bo with great power at a crucial moment. After completing all the preparations, Bo led everyone to Garuda's hideout. They split into 3 small teams and searched in different directions. At this time, Trick was brought before Garuda. Garuda had always wanted to destroy the established peace treaty, but only the blood letter, voluntarily written by the blood saint himself, would be effective. Therefore, Garuda once again used his power to charm people. In the past, Trick's wife went to the enemy camp alone to negotiate to prevent the war from continuing, but on the way back, she was attacked by a mysterious group. At that time, Trick thought his wife had died in the hands of the enemy, so he used the name of the blood saint to write a new order. However, Garuda told him that it was all just a facade. The truth was that his subordinates had killed Trick's wife on her way back. This caused a rift between the dark and light mutants and the royal family. Knowing the truth, Trick's mentality completely collapsed. He did not expect that the blood letter of truce, which was supposed to be a symbol of peace, would become a door to hide his mistakes. Seeing that the opportunity had come, Garuda immediately gave Trick a dagger. When he was about to bleed to change the blood letter, Bo and his teammates arrived in time. Under their persuasion, Trick gradually regained consciousness. Seeing that the plan was ruined, Garuda spread his wings in anger. Chris immediately transformed into a werewolf and rushed to fight Garuda, but his strength was no match. In just one move, Chris was strangled and thrown away. Seeing this, Bo immediately grabbed her long sword and rushed forward. In order to have the strength to fight Garuda, she used the terrible power from her bloodline. Garuda looked at her and said that Bo was very strong. Seeing that he was no match for Bo, Garuda immediately switched his target to Trick. The recent illusions had made his body extremely weak, and this was the best time to take over his body. When the others heard the noise and ran over, Garuda had completely taken control of Trick's body. The first thing he did was to rewrite the peace treaty, Farkas saw this and quickly used his thoughts to control Trick's actions. Taking that opportunity, Bo injected a vial of medicine into his body. Inside was the venom of the Naga King's snake. This venom was the only thing that could kill Garuda. When Trick's body was corroded by the venom, Garuda was also injured and forced to escape from him. Just like that, the mighty Garuda was completely turned to ashes, but Trick also died from the corroded venom. Fortunately, Bo always carried a bottle of life water. After pouring it into Trick's mouth, he regained consciousness not long after. However, when everyone had just escaped the tension, Bo suddenly lost her mind. She kept saying that her power was invincible. Bo would rule the world and called on everyone to tremble before that power. Trick quickly reminded everyone not to let the evil power take over her. At the same time, he also told no one to hurt Bo. Immediately after that, they called her name together to help Bo wake up. Fortunately, Bo overcame the temptation. Finally, they got through the incident safely. The movie ended here. Thank you for watching, goodbye, and see you again.